I was intrigued by the Citizen Tsuyosa model family since I first heard about it and was eager to try one for myself and share my experience with you guys. Although I didn't have very high expectations, my first look at this watch was really promising. Perhaps Citizen had really managed to create an awesome and super affordable Oyster Perpetual of its own. But after owning one for a few weeks, I learned that this watch was just not for me. The Citizen Tsuyosa line is currently available only in a few Asian and European markets and costs around 366 US dollars at retail. They are available in some really nice colors like blue, yellow, and black. I had watched Teddy Baldassar's video about them where he featured the yellow RAL version. But this Tiffany color variation seemed more elusive. I also don't own any other Tiffany RAL watch either, so going for this watch was a no-brainer. Since I'm based in the US, I had to go down the grey market to obtain one of these. I was able to snag this Tiffany RAL Tsuyosa for around 330 US dollars, which is not bad. After owning this watch for a few weeks, I am now in a position to review it. So let's get started with the positives. The highlights of this watch are definitely its design and looks. My model has the in vogue Tiffany blue dial with a beautiful sunburst finish. It's a pleasant shade of blue or rather teal, which is not overly flashy nor is it too dull. The dial is pretty clean with minimal text on it, further contributing to its simple, classy look. I think Citizen thought that this watch already looks like an Oyster Perpetual, so heck it. Might as well put a Cyclops lens over the date and complete the look. Well, I'm not complaining. The magnified date does make it easier to read. The only unique thing on this dial might be the placement of the crown. The Tsuyosa model family comes with a recessed crown at the 4 o'clock position. I think that this is great in terms of looks and uniqueness, but is terrible for actual usability, but more on that later. This watch has an integrated president-style bracelet, and we all know that integrated bracelets are hot right now. I mean, really hot. I think that the bracelet looks nice, and the back of this bracelet reflects light really beautifully. This bracelet is accompanied by a decent folding clasp with push buttons. The clasp can also be micro-adjusted, which can help you find the right fit without removing any links. This is a nice touch and I think more brands should provide this. This watch has an open case back housing Citizen's Caliber 8210 automatic movement, which has an accuracy of plus or minus 20 seconds a day and a power reserve of 40 hours. The movement is decorated pretty well. Of course, it's not going to turn any heads, but for around $350, I think it's pretty well executed. The case has a thickness of 11.7 millimeters, which is okay, not too thin, not too thick. Honestly, it was no problem for me and I found the thickness of this watch totally fine. The watch also has a water resistance of 50 meters. So it's definitely no dive watch, but you're practically covered in all real life scenarios. Every single positive feature I mentioned so far also comes with big drawbacks. This design is not original by any stretch of the imagination, and you won't be wrong to think that it's an Oyster Perpetual homage. The watch at first glance does resemble an OP. The round dial with the bright summer colors seem to have been heavily inspired by Rolex's design. But I would have liked to see some more originality from Citizen. The crown placed at this position is original, but it makes it a pain to use. A big pain. This might be one of the worst crowns I've used, not considering the crown on the 1 cent watch. It's really hard to pull out and set the time, and it's harder still to wind. This watch also wears larger than its 41mm case diameter and looks too big on my 6.2-inch wrist. I think you need to have a 7+ inch wrist to pull it off properly. The president style bracelet looks good but doesn't feel good. This bracelet occasionally pulls hair and somehow just doesn't feel comfortable, especially when worn longer than a couple of hours. and it's also a big fingerprint magnet. The bracelet is also kind of rattly, and you can hear this. Overall, the wearing experience clearly separates this watch from higher end watches. Coming to the movement is okay. I don't have much to say about it, but it would have been better to see a hacking feature, maybe slightly better accuracy and a larger power reserve. But it's important to remember that this watch costs 1/20th the price of an Oyster Perpetual, so naturally it had to cut some corners. However, what's frustrating is that this watch had the potential to be a great watch at this price. It definitely has the design, and Citizen is a well established brand, so I don't see why they couldn't have done it. So, in conclusion, I think that some of the flaws can be ignored at this price point. However, this watch is too big. A smaller case size, maybe 38mm or so, would have made it much more wearable. Some more originality in the looks also would have been appreciated. And Citizen should have just gone for a regular 3-link bracelet rather than the uncomfortable execution of this president style bracelet. As it currently stands, the Tsuyosa is no Oyster Perpetual and is really hard for me to recommend this watch to anyone. Honestly, I really wanted to love this watch, but the flaws were just too hard to ignore. What changes do you think Citizen could have made to improve this watch? I would love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Have a wonderful day and see you all in the next video very soon. Peace.